The desert wind moved like a soft whisper over golden sand, carrying with it the memory of forgotten ages. Far beyond the dunes, where the early sun painted the horizon in shades of fire and gold, stood the ruins of the old kingdoms. They were silent now, broken stones resting under the endless sky. But once, long ago, these kingdoms had been alive with dreams, music, pride, and people who believed their greatness would last forever. This is their story. A story of rise, glory, and the fall that followed. A story of hope, struggle, and the lessons of time. The dawn of a kingdom. Long before the world knew kings or crowns, tribes wandered the desert, searching for shelter, water, and peace. Among these wandering people lived a young man named Caled, whose heart held dreams larger than the desert itself. He was not strong like the warriors, nor wealthy like the merchants, but he had a gift unlike anyone else. He could see possibilities where others saw nothing. One night, as the stars shone like diamonds scattered across a velvet sky, Caled climbed the highest dune. He looked over the vast emptiness and whispered, "Here. Here we will build a home that time will remember." His people laughed at first. The desert was harsh, unforgiving, and cruel. But Caled believed in unity. He believed that strength did not come from one person, but from the hands of many working together. So, under his guidance, the tribe settled near a hidden oasis where clean water sparkled like silver and date palms swayed gently in the warm wind. They built mud brick houses, then larger halls, and finally walls to protect the village. What began as a small settlement soon grew into a bustling town. People arrived from far-off lands, drawn by the stories of peace and prosperity. Traders brought treasures, scholars brought knowledge, and families brought hope for a better life. Caled stood at the heart of it all. His dream was growing, and the desert was no longer empty. 2. The Age of Kings. As the years passed, the village became a city, and the city became a kingdom. When Caled grew older, the people crowned him their first king. He ruled with kindness, using wisdom instead of fear, and unity instead of war. Under his leadership, the old kingdom flourished. Tall stone temples rose under the open sky. Roads stretched far across the desert, connecting towns like threads in a golden tapestry. Farmers expanded their fields. Merchants traded with distant empires, and children grew up believing their land was blessed by the heavens. But greatness invites ambition. When Caled died in his sleep at the age of 84, the kingdom mourned deeply. His son, King Acer, then took the throne. Unlike his father, Acer believed that power must be shown, feared, and admired. He wanted to expand the kingdom beyond the horizon to conquer lands that had never heard their name. The kingdom grew richer, and the people saw wonders built from stone and gold. But with wealth came pride, and with pride came shadows. The old unity began to fade. Whispers of greed and rivalry drifted through the palace halls. A civilization built on cooperation was slowly becoming a kingdom built on ambition. 3. The Golden Generation, even so. The kingdom reached its peak during the rule of Acer's grandson, King Moran. Unlike his father, Moran was gentle, thoughtful, and deeply loved by his people. He believed the kingdom should not expand by force, but by knowledge and harmony. Under Moran's rule, the old kingdoms entered their golden age. The great library at the heart of the capital city. Moran built a magnificent library filled with scrolls gathered from every corner of the known world. Scholars from foreign lands traveled to study its knowledge, and writers described it as a temple of wisdom. The Garden of Dawn next to the palace, Moran created a vast garden filled with rare flowers, singing birds, and clear streams. People said walking through the garden felt like stepping into a dream. Our kingdom united peasants lived peacefully, but farmers harvested bountiful crops. Children swam in the oasis, laughing as sunlight danced on the water. In those days, the land was alive with happiness. People believed the kingdom would shine forever. But time, like the desert wind, always brings change. 4. The first cracks in the crown. The Golden Age could not hide the problems growing beneath the surface. The nobles, drunk on luxury, wanted more land, more servants, and more power. They argued over borders, wealth, and influence. The once strong council became divided, each member seeking their own advantage rather than serving the kingdom. Meanwhile, drought struck the land. The great river that had fed the fields began to shrink, and the crops grew weaker each season. The people looked to the court for help, but the nobles were too busy fighting each other to notice the suffering beyond the palace walls. King Maron, old and tired, tried to maintain peace, but the weight of the kingdom pressed heavily on him. And then came the moment that changed everything. King Maron died unexpectedly one winter night, leaving behind no children. With no heir to guide the kingdom, the nobles turned against each other, claiming the throne through bloodlines, marriage, or sheer force. The unity that had built the kingdom, the wisdom that had guided it, the dreams that once gave it strength, all began to crumble. The rise of rival kingdoms. As the old kingdom weakened, neighboring lands saw an opportunity. To the west, the kingdom of Saran, long jealous of the old kingdom's wealth, began raiding border villages. To the north, the Tramari tribes united under a fierce new leader who wanted to control the trade routes. To the east, a rising empire sent spies and merchants, pretending peace while planning to take more. Instead of defending themselves together, the nobles argued endlessly. Some wanted peace, others wanted war. Some wanted to break away and rule their own territories. Some wanted to surrender to foreign powers. The once mighty kingdom split into 3 smaller states, each ruled by a different noble family. The old kingdoms were no longer one. They were rivals. The time of suffering. For the first time in centuries, families fled their homes. Fields, once green and rich, turned dry under the scorching sun. Rivers shrank until only cracked soil remained. The great library burned during a battle between rival factions, and years of knowledge vanished in a single night. People cried as the flames reached the sky. The palaces fell, one after another. Statues of old kings crumbled. Temples were looted. The gardens that once bloomed with colors faded into dust. The desert, patient and timeless, reclaimed what humans had built. War came not from one enemy, but from many. Saran invaded from the west. The Tramari stole from the north. The Eastern Empire seized cities silently, placing their own leaders on thrones. And so, the old kingdoms fell not in a single night, but slowly, painfully, like a great star losing its light. 7. The last guardian among the ruins of the capital, a young woman named Laria, lived with her grandfather. He had once been a scribe in the Great Library and had saved several scrolls from the flames on the night of its destruction. Every evening, as the sun dipped behind the dunes, he read to Laria the stories of their ancestors, stories of Kaeld, of unity, of wisdom, and of a kingdom that was built on hope. Laria loved these stories more than anything, and each time she heard them, her heart felt both proud and sad. One night, as a cold breeze swept through the ruined city, her grandfather whispered, "Laria, the kingdom may fall, but its memory must live. You must carry these stories to the next generation." She promised him she would. When her grandfather died a few months later, Laria left the ruins and traveled from village to village. She shared the stories of the old kingdoms with children, travelers, and elders. Her voice carried the wisdom of centuries, reminding people of what once was and what could be again. And slowly, unity began to spark in people's hearts once more. 8. The lesson of time. Centuries passed, empires rose and fell. New kingdoms appeared, only to vanish like footprints on sand. But the story of the old kingdoms lived on. It was told by storytellers around campfires, written in scrolls, carved on temple walls, and remembered in songs. People learned that greatness is fragile when pride replaces unity. Wisdom can build empires, but greed can destroy them. And the past is not lost if its stories are kept alive. The desert still whispers the tale of the old kingdoms. If you walk among the ruins at dusk, you might feel the soft breath of ancient winds and hear faint echoes of children laughing, merchants calling, and kings dreaming. The kingdoms may have fallen, but their spirit survives. because a story remembered is a kingdom reborn.